welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of My Favorite Things, aka a little bit of everything, May and June edition. This is a series on my channel where I talk about my favorite things that I've watched or listened last month. So I talk about movies, TV shows, anime, music, and YouTubers. I've watched a good amount of things on these 2 months and I couldn't make separate videos for each month, so we're adding those two, okay? We got a good collection here of stuff to watch and I hope that one of them speaks to you, because I'm sure that each thing that I'm going to name here has made an impact on me that I think more people should be entertained by and watch it as well. So without further ado, let's start with movies. The first movie I'm going to be talking about is The Royal Tenenbaums by Wes Anderson. If you're familiar with Wes' work, he really has an aesthetic that we love dearly. And with this movie, I think it's the first time I've seen him being experimental, and I'll get to why in a minute. The Royal Tenenbaums is a story about a family of gifted kids who's raised by their mother, and once they're grown up, their father wants to get back into their lives, but they all went in separate ways. It's the story of this family reuniting again after all these years and reconnecting. Wes Anderson really likes to address family in his movies, what it means to be a family and what family is made of. Here in The Royal Tenenbaums, I think that he has a little bit of his earlier work mixed with what we know from now, like with the Wes we came to love and everything. For me, what he's being experimental here is with the soundtrack. He opens the movie with an instrumental version of Let It Be. My Beatles heart was just so warm when I noticed that. There's a scene where they use a song called Needle in the Hay that I really enjoyed the song, but whenever I hear the song, it's going to bring me back that scene. It was a good surprise, and I'm always happy to go through earlier works of directors, especially because it teaches us so much of their style and how they developed through their movies. It's such a special movie and I get why it's so iconic now. Another movie that I watched is called Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. It's about this woman who's in her late 50s, her husband passed away, and she hires a sex worker to do some things that she always wanted to try but never had the opportunity before. I think a lot of people can get thrown off by the premise, but hear me out. This movie is more important than you can imagine. It is a portrayal of intimacy in a way that I didn't see it in a long time. It deals with clash of generations. Whenever they talk about subjects, they have different views, and she thinks she's doing something wrong because she hired this man, but he explains to her that this is a job like any other and the purpose of what he does. To see a movie be so open and so honest to us about what is happening to the characters and their thoughts, it's just a movie that focuses on the women's perspective on intimacy, which I think it's a subject that it can get buried really quick. So I think that if you're willing to watch and listen to what they're saying and kind of join in the conversation of what they're talking about, then this will be a great time for you. But I totally get it if this is not your cup of tea. I have 2 honorable mentions. The first one is a movie that I had in the back of my mind the trailer for years because I saw it as a kid and I never got until now, and it's called The Boat That Rocked, or Pirate Radio. It's a story set in the 1960s about an illegal radio station that plays pop music. This was a time that pop music was not welcome yet. It was kind of a clandestine thing, and we followed the crew. I was really interested in the perspective of the music and how people wanted to listen to the songs but were prohibited of doing so. It's a 2-hour movie with a premise that doesn't need to be 2 hours, so they fill with side stories and they make really questionable choices when it comes to how women are portrayed here. They are basically props, and because of that it got in the way of a movie experience, but I still recommend it because I had a fun time when it wasn't focused on parts like that. I think it's good to give it a try and see if you like it. Now, the other honorable mention, it's a documentary on HBO that's called Spring Awakening, Those You've Known. Spring Awakening, it's a Broadway musical. We see the whole process of how it came to be and what it meant and the cultural meaning they had during its time. Also, the actors speak of their experience. I came here mostly for Jonathan Groff because he's such a sweet human being, and this documentary only reaffirms that to me.
Through the cast and through the opportunity of getting to play this character, I had grown this strength, and it changed my whole life.
Yeah, if you're a Glee fan or a musical theater fan, I think that this documentary, it's a nice watch. TV shows. I want to start with these two shows that I just really came to love during these 2 months. One of them is in its 3rd season and the other it's a new show. I might do video essays on it, so I'm going to try to keep it simple here. First, Barry season 3. Just amazing. Each episode I was so engaged. Bill Hader, my man, you know what you're doing, and I love it that you know what you're doing. The writing here just blew me off every single time because it's just so good. It is a lot about second chances, what they really mean, and if someone really deserves one. All the characters, they all have a past that it's not the brightest, and they carry until today. Even if this season got really dark, we still got humor, a really more dark humor than the other seasons. Barry is one of the best shows airing right now. The other show is Our Flag Means Death. I'm just so in love with the show. It's about Steve Bonnet, who was a landowner that decides to become a pirate. He has his crew and he treats his crew in a more sophisticated way than pirates really are treated or treat each other. In the middle of all that, there's a pirate that everyone praises, and you just know that these two might cross their ways. I think that Our Flag Means That it's great comedy TV. There's a reason why this show has grown to have such a large fan base and why people on TikTok like to talk about it. I have one honorable mention. It's the season 3 of Love, Victor. I talked about it, the season 2 in my channel and how I freaking loved it. So I was expecting that they would close the story nicely, and in the end it lacked a lot. They could have stretched it out and gave a more nice development. This season is basically about romantic relationships and how the characters are dealing with these new relationships. I was so excited for Pilar and Felix, and their storyline disappointed me a little. I kinda understand why they went there, and it's a process that they had to go through, but they could have solved in a more wrapped up way. One thing that I gotta praise is that they really developed Benji this season, but when it comes to his romantic relationship with Victor, it's just a thing that didn't work for me. Overall, I think that Love, Victor as a series is really good for its target audience. It really tackles subjects that for teens to hear about it and to learn, it is important. Anime. The fall anime season was just pretty good. It was pretty great. I don't know if the next seasons are going to top it off this one. And I have 3 animes to talk about. Let's start with a funny one that's called Aharen-san is Indecipherable. The story is about these new high school students, Rydell and Aharen. They both have a background where they had little social interaction, and they are really decided to change that. For their luck, they sit next to each other. They go to the most extreme scenarios to solve daily things, because Rydell is always like Aharen is this unbeatable being. Also, the side characters get to be as crazy as these 2 protagonists. It really is a funny show that gets into a storyline more at the end of it that is pretty wholesome, and my definition for it really is we can be weird together. The other one is Spy Family, a really great show. It has a really great premise. The story is just about this spy who is assigned a mission where he needs to adopt a kid and start this fake family. So he adopts a child that has psychic powers, which is something that he doesn't know. He later finds the mother, who he doesn't know is an assassin, and they become a family. It's really fun to watch this unexpected trio come together and just the challenges that they get themselves into. They all have a thing that they don't know, except for Anya. Since she's a kid, she sometimes doesn't know what to do with that information except react like a kid would, which is like be excited that her now father is a spy, and also her favorite show is a spy show, so that's pretty convenient for her. We will have a part 2 in October, so it's not over, we're still gonna have more Spy Family this year. Last but not least, we had Kaguya-sama Love is War, ultra romantic, which is the 3rd season of Kaguya-sama. If you're not watching Kaguya-sama, please go fall in love with that show. Basically, Kaguya is the story about these 2 kids who like each other, but they wanna make the other say that they like them first. Like it's in the title, is a war between them to see which one is going to make the other confess first their feelings. It's just an amazing comedy romance anime that will fulfill you in every aspect. The payoff here in the 3rd season is amazing. It really builds up within each season to something incredible. We got Kaguya always overthinking too much, Ishigami's golden development, I love that character so much. Chika's continuing to be Chika, she'll never change, but she's also more fun here. Shiragane's will to always make things work because he's the student council president and of his person. I like season 2 more, but I cannot deny that season 3 is better in so many aspects. What I'm excited for? I'm excited for this movie called Not Okay that stars Zoe Dutch. And the other thing is the season 3 of High School Musical, the series. Like, I already watched the first 2, so why not watch the 3rd? I'm already into the story anyways. I already talked about it here on my channel as well. So yeah, I wanna check it out. So those are my favorite things from the past 2 months. I hope that you have a good time if you decide to watch one of these things, because I just think that they are so good in their own right. And that's it for now from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!